If you don't know, thank you, Brenda. I forgot to give you a minute to do that. So Mr. John Hoffman is with us. He is a Platinum 3 executive director, Millionaire Club member, $800,000 ring earner, Platinum World Council. And I'm just going to turn it right over to you, John, because I could talk about you all night.
Well, thank you, Jane. Good evening, everybody. How's the team doing?
Great.
Yeah.
Dandy.
Yeah, Brenda, I love your hostess and welcoming everybody. See a lot of familiar faces out there. So thanks for the invite. And Jane, it's nice to see you're in Ada, Oklahoma tonight.
Always.
Lady of Justice behind you there. Can't go wrong with that, right? So, Jane, what I thought, is again, appreciate the invite, and I thought maybe I would just take a few minutes and just kind of throw maybe 4 questions out there for everybody to answer. Not necessarily of me, but maybe of yourself, and it's something that I might, I would share with people on my team, and it's something I did for one of the other organizations a couple of weeks ago. But then, let's if time permits, open it up for any questions anybody might have. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if time permits. So I titled this just more of 4 undeniable truths of a leader. 4 undeniable truths of a leader. So let's look at this for a second, just as an organization, as a team, and just in having this kind of a conversation with each other. So these 4 truths are like, consider it like 4 legs of a table. So 4 legs of a table. So, they're the foundation of everything that we build on. So you got to have 4 legs of the table to have a good foundation. I mean, imagine having a dinner party where, one of the legs was broken. It probably wouldn't work real good. All right. And then put this in your notes. A truth is a belief, and a belief drives actions, and actions create what? Results. So a belief is a truth is a belief, and beliefs drive actions, and actions create results. So, how many of us want more results in our business? I think we'd all raise our hand. How many of us want more results in basically anything that we do or cherish, kind of in life? So the first question is the product real? Now, I've been here 22 years, hands down, unequivocally, the product is real. What we offer with the benefits that support it is real, and this doggone product's been real for 50 years. It just continues to get better and better and better. So do you believe the product's real? Because if you believe it, you're going to want to do what? You're going to want to share it. And if you don't believe it, you won't share it. So, let's examine for a second the value. Just think about the value of what we market. What makes us believe, in the value of our services? Is the value of our service greater than what the cost would be? So consider a few things. And let's just take the combination plan. We'll take the $29.95 legal plan. We'll take the $34.95 identity theft plan. That's what I sell. All right, I sell the combo plan. I've been around this industry for, gosh, I hate to say it, 33, 34 years now. And I go back to my very first company. It was a company called NSA. Maybe a lot of you know that company today because they market Juice Plus. So it cost Darcy and I $5,000 to get started with that company. Not 50, not 100. Basically $5,000 was our basically our qualifier, and we had to do $5,000 of new business every month to just qualify for our check. Okay, so if you look at the industry in general, most of the companies have an auto ship. So take a look at your blue chips. You take a look at Amway, Herbalife, Melaleuca, New Skin, Young Living, Rodan and Fields. I mean, I could go on and on and on with a lot of the companies. When I say blue chip, they've been around 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. their auto ship is typically in excess of $150 a month. You know, that's what you're ordering every month in respect to the products that you're basically buying at wholesale, maybe selling at retail from the companies you're working with. So is our product of value? Now, I don't know how many of you have thought about asking or going outside of Legal Shield, but if you get a chance to ask attorneys or get a chance to network with maybe people you know, ask them, if I were to come to you and I were to ask to get a will done or an estate plan, what would you charge me? You'll hear anything from $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. If the individual says we don't do estate planning in our law office, ask them, well, hey, amongst your colleagues, what would you charge? What would you charge to represent me if I got a moving traffic violation? What would you charge to review my contracts or documents? You know, what would you charge for, you know, anything if I were treated, you know, unfairly? If I became a victim of identity theft, could you represent me? Could you clear my records? Could you help from a legal perspective to do these things? You know, I've dealt with attorneys. I've come from a family of attorneys. You know, I have a buddy of mine who is one of the largest operators of Papa John's here in Knoxville. Okay, he's paying $700 and $800 an hour to his attorneys. All right, that you know that's a Georgia attorney. You know, I can't find a bad attorney for under $300 in Knoxville. Under $300. You know, so you get into the bigger cities, you go into Washington, you go into New York, you go into Dallas, you go into LA, you're looking at $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 an hour for a top-notch attorney. So, you know, does our value exceed what somebody's going to pay for? You know, and if the answer is yes, you'll want to share your product more and more and more and more. With everybody you come across, you'll want to share your product. So I don't know if anybody likes Starbucks, but just go price, you know, 8, 10 lattes a month. All right, you know, that's 2, 3 lattes a week. 2, 3. I mean, it's $5, $6, $7 for a venti. All right, that's in excess of what you'd spend for the legal plan. That's in excess of what you probably spend for the combo plan. You know, at basically just $64.90. You know, how many of you like to just have a nice bottle of wine? 2 bottles of wine are in excess of what you would spend for your legal and identity theft protection. I don't know if anybody's been going back to the movies lately. Top Gun's out. If you like the first Top Gun, you'll love the second Top Gun. Okay. If you like that kind of stuff, you got to go. They've done a fantastic job. Just take 2 people to the movie. You know, 3 people to the movie, boom, you know, you're over $60. So when the value is greater than the cost, what happens next? We have a satisfied customer. You know, my strongest business for 30 years has always been a satisfied customer first. You know, that's why I market the product to recruit people into the business. If you're a satisfied customer, you're going to want to share the benefits of what you receive with others. So when I do market the membership, one of 2 things happens. You know, they either become an associate or the value of a satisfied customer equals R3. So if you're taking notes, put R3. You know, Darcy and I have talked this for a long time. Many of you are probably familiar with it. What is R3? Referrals to the power of 3. Anytime I market a membership, I immediately go to that person and say, if I'm talking to Brenda and I market a membership to Brenda, I'm like, Brenda, now that you understand what we do, you know, can you think of 3 people you know who might like to benefit from the same service that you're going to be benefiting from? And you know anybody, part-time or full-time, that might be interested in either supplementing their income, having some part-time income, or maybe some full-time income, because our business is exploding and I could use your help. Brenda might say, man, John, based on what this product does, tell me about the opportunity. Now I can tell her about the opportunity. Or Brenda might say, hey, you know, I'm a professional golf teacher. I love what I do. I've basically just got very limited time. But I can think of 3 people I know right now that could benefit from it. So Robert Kiyosaki said, change your focus from making money to serving more people, and the money will come in. So change your focus from making money to serving more people, and the money will come in. You guys know, all of you out there that know us, we've always discussed mission marketing versus commission marketing. So the product's real. So let's look at this. So let's ask this question. If the product is real, the next question that we ask ourselves is the opportunity real? Is the opportunity real? Do you believe? And if you believe, do you share? Because if you don't believe, you won't share. All right. Are you sharing the opportunity? If not, I would say you have a belief problem. People want to buy services like ours from satisfied customers. Everybody I can see on this screen, if I pull up the participant page, everybody on here, I mean, not everybody, but I recognize probably 80, 90% of the names on here. And each one of you are satisfied customers. I would want to buy a service from someone like you because of what? You've used the product. You've got a live testimonial. So consider these statistics. 68% of people don't like shopping online. This makes what? Your opportunity that much more real. Duct tape marketing. This was a little while ago. I have another statistic. 90% of consumers around the world say they trust word of mouth from their friends and family above all other forms of advertising. 90% of consumers around the world say they trust word of mouth from their friends and family above all other forms of advertising. So, consumers seek personalized face-to-face service from people who use the products. Consider cell phone carriers. Verizon, AT&T, they opened 16,000 stores because online wasn't the place to do your business. Look at computer, online computers versus the Apple Store. Which is better and which has served the consumer better. Okay. Each one of us, you and I, we are the local storefront. We are that storefront. Okay. So what about the money? Is our business model, is what we do with the opportunity a better way to grow income? Think about this for a second. Look at the traditional model. And if you look at the US median income since 1970, with the average income being right at $50,000 to $60,000, the median income in this country has barely moved. You have not seen any real uptick in median income. So this is the reality for 50% of American households. And some of you might be thinking, well, geez, how can it be? Well, think about how it is for just a second. And I think this is where we become even more mission oriented because of what we understand. Knowledge is power. But here's how we were all trained. We graduated from high school and we were told to what? Go to college. Go to college. After college, we were trained to get a job. All right. Only, and probably, let's see, my daughter graduated at Sanford, my other one, Tennessee, Brielle down in Birmingham. Only probably in the last 10 to 15 years, you see them teaching entrepreneurial courses. Only lately have colleges started to teach entrepreneurial or business-oriented mindsets. So we were trained to get a job. We were trained for linear income. We were trained to trade time for money. You give me 40, the employee returns for my 40 hours a check. All right. We were trained to do this for 40 plus years. And we were trained that freedom comes when we retire. Man, if that doesn't put you and I on a mission to say, hey, there's a better way. There's a heck of a lot better way. J. Paul Getty said it better than anybody. I'd rather earn 1% off of the effort of 100 versus 100% off of my own effort. You and I have an option, okay? There was no residual, there was no leverage. You know, we started at 0 every month. You know, is that what we want? I guess it's what you want when it's the only thing you know. You know, so that puts us on just another plane in respect to what we offer, because the benefits are strong with the product. The opportunity is real, but tied to the opportunity, whether part-time, whether full-time, whether business solutions, whether network, we can complement the egos of probably one of the largest recruiting pools ever available to the direct selling industry. All right, so let's just see, what's another good question that we can ask? Let me throw a few more statistics out for you. Baby boomers, 74% of baby boomers want the ability to work after they retire. 74% of baby boomers want the opportunity to work after they retire. You can recruit women. Statistics show that 83% of women earning over 100,000 earn it through direct selling. You can recruit Latinos. 20% of Americans who become involved in direct selling are Latinos. Millennials, because of the changes in technology, along with low interest in the traditional job, nearly 3 in 10 people involved in direct selling are millennials. Excuse me. You also have heard how the gig economy has become one of the biggest economies. You know, today you see millennials not just doing one, but sometimes 2, 3, 4 different things. You can recruit people who are unhappy with their work. Forbes magazine states that 52% of people are unhappy about their work, while Bloomberg found that 77% of independent contractors are highly satisfied with theirs. These are just good statistics that kind of support everything that you and I stand for and everything that you and I believe. I was taught 33 years ago to operate from a position of strength. All of these statistics are extremely helpful for you in conversations that you have, especially on the opportunity side. Is personal development important? So let's move to number 3, personal development. Do you believe? And if you do believe, will you commit to it? Do you commit to it? I don't have to say much more about my commitment to personal development, because you can just see one of my libraries behind me. There's 3 other libraries in our house. We just sold our house. We're moving to another place down on the lake. Darcy and I were down there this morning, and we're like, wait a minute, we don't have room for all the other books. So we're going through the house trying to find out where can we put all the other books that we have. I know each one of you are committed to it, you know, but what's more important is how committed, you know, because attitude is everything, as Paul J. Meyer has shared. Let's see, where was my other notes? So, you know that we put our coaching model together. Tell me, show me, let me grow me. Tell me, show me, let me grow me. So how do we personally grow? So think about it. Whether it's in this business, whether it's playing tennis, whether it's playing golf, whether it's becoming a cardiac surgeon, the process is tell me, show me, let me grow me. People love to tell me, they love to show me. That doesn't require a lot. But the let me part, the actual let me go do it part, that's where the rubber really meets the road. You know, and I promise you, if you're not getting the results that you're looking for, it boils down to 2 things: activity and attitude. You know, and that's what I love about many of you who had a chance to meet Paul J. Meyer. Some of you that didn't. He was a mentor to us. He actually sponsored us in the business. And if anybody exemplified attitude, Paul had a saying in his books, attitude is everything. So the let me part is the you need to do it part. You know, we tell ourselves to do things unsuccessful people won't do and to not be afraid. No, we should do. Successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. But it's okay to have fear. It's okay, you can't let it control you. It's okay to embrace failure. There isn't anybody in the world who has been successful wildly successful without huge failure. Failure is just simply a byproduct of becoming successful. It's in the tough times that you learn the most. But don't let it, take you out. Let it take you up. Failure is something that is extremely positive. Losing is supposed to hurt. Failure is supposed to hurt. Not because we're losers, not because we're failures, but because of what it makes of us. In climbing to the summit, I'm a big reader of mountaineering and different expeditions, whether it's Denali, K2, Everest. I just look at kind of the athleticness, more importantly, the mindset of these men and women who will go to climb some of the tallest peaks in the world. And if you look at Everest as an example, it's just shy of 30,000 feet. That's where you fly in jet airplanes. There's a third less oxygen as soon as you get above 25,000 feet than below, a third less. That's what they call it, the death zone. But why is it people pursue it? How is it that they succeed at it? And many don't, but they go back and try again. When they don't succeed, they're not failures. They just know that I get a chance to learn from it, and I kind of reset and do it again. Okay, lastly, Jane, am I okay? Let's just see, I'm 20 minutes in, am I all right? Okay, so real quick, one more. Y'all have heard it? Meetings make money. So what is a meeting? Meetings make money. All right, what is a meeting? It's when we share the product or the opportunity fully. So you've heard me say, I will not accept a no, N-O, until the party I'm talking to, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Ooh, that was close. Okay. So if I'm prospecting Jane and Jane says no, all right, and I haven't given her a full presentation, I'm not talking about an hour, 2-hour dissertation. I'm talking about a full professional presentation, at least 15 minutes to hear the benefits of what we do. If she says no, but she doesn't K-N-O-W, but she doesn't know, I tell Jane that I will persist until she K-N-O-Ws. I'm okay with a no, N-O, provided the person I'm talking to knows what it is we do. Does that make sense? All of us have had the family members. All of us have had the neighbors. All of us have had people, no, thanks. I might go in there. What are you saying no to? Do you know what I was going to share? Do you know what our product? Well, no, okay. All right. Then let me share with you what it is we do so that you can make an intelligent decision. Because that is what you like to do, base your decisions on facts and not false assumptions. Challenge your folks. Challenge them to stay in the mix with you until they know. So a meeting can be a one-on-one. A meeting can be you at Starbucks with somebody you know. A meeting can be a Zoom. A meeting can be a PBR. Meetings just aren't what we used to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Look at every opportunity you have today, to share. All right. Be plugged in, be present, be engaged in everything that the team's doing. Okay. Work to get others engaged in what the team's doing. Always be a product of the product. Let's just see. So basically, all I'd like to do tonight is just, help each one of you to understand, that these 4 truths are really undeniable. These 4 truths are the foundation of your table. And if you do believe that, then let's take a look every week at what does our activity look like? Are we seeing the people? Are we telling the story? I control the hours I work, the people I see, and my attitude. I can't control anything else. I control the hours I work, the people I see, and I control my attitude. So, two things is really all it boils down to. If I'm not getting the results I want, it's typically attitude or activity. I should say, it's really activity and attitude. All right. If I've had 3 people tell me no, maybe I've got a bad attitude. That's no reason to have a bad attitude. There are just people out there that say no. It just puts me that much closer to a yes. So anyhow, I hope that was helpful. Hopefully you guys were able to jump on our call. I think Friday that we did, there's a lot of great incentives, a lot of great announcements. And when I say incentives, I'm not a guy who chases shiny objects. Darcy and I have never chased shiny objects. As a matter of fact, the majority of bonuses that I've earned over 30 years is because I'm simply engaged in the game. I don't know. I can't keep up with all the things they throw our way. But here's what I can keep up with in these latest announcements. They're foundational to us. Incentives for the ED run, the changes in Performance Club, the changes in retention to Performance Club, the ability for anybody who fell out of Performance Club to get back in, retain it for 6 months, and the company will go back to your longest streak. So we finally have a company who's starting to listen a little bit, and a company that's wanting to have a little bit more conversation with the Platinums. So I won't go into the reason why. Most of you can probably figure that out. But it's something we've been looking forward to for a while, and it's happening. And they've already pulled the trigger on a few things, to kind of even arm us in a stronger way than we've been armed before. So, and we've been armed pretty well. Legal Shield's still paying about 120 million a year in commissions. So, all the way through COVID, same thing. I mean, that's pretty powerful. Yeah, Jane, I agree. Absolutely. So Jane, I'll throw it back to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to visit this great team and see everybody. And I don't know if my good friend John Brennan was able, there he is, John's on. So Jane, to you and John and the rest of the team, thank you so much for the invite, and back to you for any questions you might have.
So John, the recording from the other day when you spoke, is that on Shield Nation?
It sure is. Yep.
Anyone who didn't see that should go to shieldnation.com and watch that. It was a very powerful. Thank you so much for what you did. I'm going to bring John Drennan. Please unmute, and I'm going to give it to the two of you.
Well, thanks so much, Jane. John Hoffman, as always, thanks. Great information. I love the 4 questions. I love how you got us thinking. And, you were talking about NSA, which became Juice Plus, and how it was a $5,000 buy-in. I almost made that buy-in in around 1998. And think about that, $5,000 in 1998 is like $10,000 today. But that was the buy-in. And it was hard to know, is this going to be worth it? But your questions, is the product real, and then is the business real? We are swimming in the evidence of that. So I really love that. I want to take a minute, Jane, and just talk about kind of, for the people who haven't been plugged in, who weren't on the Shield Nation call the other day, or Zoom late last week, just to make sure you understand a couple things. Number one, there's a new energy with this company, and I can tell. I've been on a leadership Zoom. I was on the Shield Nation Zoom and talked to a number of the Millionaire Club members. There's just an excitement and energy that's really palpable. You know what I mean? And inspiring. And, John Hoffman just mentioned there are some decisions already and directions already being made that really are meaningful. I also want to, and I'm going to real quick share my screen just to show everybody, if you haven't done this, go to your LS Engage, and right on the main page, you'll see the Performance Club reset. This is worth taking a minute on. In a nutshell, anybody who's not been in Performance Club or didn't make it last month, when you make it in June, you reset to wherever you last were. So whether it was in April, you dropped out, or a year ago, you dropped out, maybe you dropped out after 7 months in a row. You reset, and that would be your 8th month if you make it in June. However, if you make it in June and then make it 5 more months for a total of 6 months, you'll reset to your longest streak ever. So maybe 5 years ago, you had a streak of 48 months. and you'd reset to that. So if you do the next 6 months, that would be 6 plus 48. Now you're at 54 months. That is huge. They've never done that. And it's really a way of extending almost a baton or an olive branch and saying, we want you in at the highest level you've ever been, and we're going to allow you to do that. Secondly, it's easier to do that because you can now earn toward Performance Club Pro with your recruits. And that's shown here, where in the middle where it says Performance Club New Recruiting Opportunity. And then finally, the Build New has been extended, which was in place last month. So you can go get the documents and get the information here. This is LS Engage on the main page. Also, Jane, I think most people at this point know that the company wants to really simplify, and that's already showing up. One example is they're going from a weekly leadership show to a monthly communication show. And because there are so many ways to communicate now, that's really smart. And so we as a team are going to mirror that. After June, we're going from a weekly team Zoom, which is what we're on right now, to a monthly team Zoom. And that will always be the Sunday following the Legal Shield communication show, so that we can kind of pick that apart and focus on that. So just be aware of that in your planning going forward in the second half of this year. And then finally, Jane, I'm looking at people here, and we've got people in Success Partners who have never hit executive director, but they're within range. Well, if you hit ED for the first time this month, you earn $1,000 bonus. If you then maintain it again next month, you earn another $1,000. So that's $2,000 of bonus that's available. However, also, if you've hit it in the past, but have not hit it in 2022, and you make it this month, you still get the $1,000. And make it next month, you get another $1,000. So we've got people that fit that, Jason Wardell, I think Danny Godin, Lynn Schuster Williams. We've got a lot of people who've hit executive director, but they haven't hit it this year, who are eligible for those bonuses. So those are some of the highlights. And I know Timmer unmuted his video, and Jane, I'd like to go to Timmer and just see if he's got something I missed or any comments he wants to make as a Millionaire Club member.
Or John also, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Drennan. I appreciate you, Mr. Hoffman, for being on tonight. Over the last several days, I've been reaching out to many, many folks that were in Performance Club for a period of time. And, the reality is sometimes when you're in Performance Club and you were to miss it for some month, some reason, something, it has a tendency to knock you out, especially the longer sometimes that you're in it. That's just the mindset that some folks have got. And so I've spoken to several folks over the last several days that were in Performance Club sometimes for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 1 year. And they're like, this is what I've been looking for as an opportunity to get back. Why that's the opportunity to get back, I don't know, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, to go 1 month worth of digging in to bring back sometimes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years worth of activity, you can't ask for anything better. And, for those of us that are, still currently in Performance Club, for those of us that are currently just working the business like we have to embrace this opportunity, because right now the company has got some relaxed qualifications. I call them relaxed qualifications because it was much more difficult over the last 2 years or so to reach manager, to reach senior manager, to reach director. Where we have returned to, we have to realize that is a huge opportunity for us to bring new folks into this business, to become a manager producing factory to really help us grow. So I'm so excited for where the company is right now. I'm excited to, as leadership changes and leadership develops, to see what's going to happen next. But right now, they're giving us every opportunity, and there's no excuse to not win. So appreciate you, Mr. Drennan, Mr. Hoffman. Everybody else, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much. And Jane, thank you. And I'll go back to you and John Hoffman for any additional comments. Thanks so much. You're muted, Jane. John Hoffman, you got anything else you want to add while Jane unmutes or figures it out?
Finally happened. That's it. That's the question I asked.
Yeah. I think Timber just shared something that is extremely valuable, because I'm kind of getting goosebumps just as I really think about it. You know, the company means well, I think, sometimes when they do things, but the company also does things without thinking through it sometimes. And I think it was maybe four years ago when they made some of the performance club changes, maybe 3. You know, I don't remember the date. You know, there were a lot of people who fell out of performance club. And when they did, you know, they took offense to it. They were upset. And, you know, hey, rightfully so. I mean, there were a lot of people who did fall out. So, you know, you could have stayed in, you just had to make some changes. But anyhow, they kind of felt like it just wasn't fair what the company did, you know. And to Timber's point, you know, you go back and say, hey, look, here's an opportunity for this reset. You know, I've talked about 10 different people, you know, who were part of that group that fell out. They're like, and to John's point a minute ago, if you really kind of look deeper at what these incentives or what these announcements are about, if you look deeper into it, you're realizing we've thrown these things at the company before to say we'd like to see this change. It fell on deaf ears, but now they're hearing us, which means they're interested in what it is we have to say, because we are the field and they're making those changes. So to Timber's point, you know, doggone it, don't assume somebody is just out, you know, but go to them and say, hey, if you qualify for 30 months and you lost your qualification, bingo, we can get you back and running and cranking. You know what I mean? And so anyhow, you know, do a deep dive, guys, do a deep dive, schedule an hour a day over this next week and kind of reach out to some of those folks. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. It'll be positive.
Thank you. So with that, I think, I mean, my head's so full right now, and I'm super excited. So thank you so much. I think this is great. I'm not even going to do a video tonight. We've gone way over time. So I think we all have enough to chew on tonight anyway. So tomorrow morning stretch call at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Eastern time. And bye-bye for now, y'all.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Have a great night.